How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another edition of the Lead Pedal Podcast. This is episode number 958, and it's a Lead Pedal Q&A. That's right, we've got a question that came in through one of our listeners or students or social, however we get these questions, we get them. And one question we got today is, why should I care about reading maps or filling out paper logs when we are already in a digital society? And we will tell you all about that right after this. Hey folks, you know that Bison raised their rates at the beginning of the year for owner-operators and for company drivers. And I gotta tell you, it has been so successful that they wanted to let you know exactly how much their drivers are making. That's right, they have significantly increased the base rates for their teams. So owner-operator teams can earn up to $360,000 per year. That's right, you heard me say that right, $360,000 per year. Company team drivers can earn up to $120,000 per year per driver. That's right, per driver. That's some big numbers, right? They have a wide variety of Canada-only dedicated team positions available for folks to choose from, and Bison has a steady freight to keep the teams moving. So if you want to significantly increase your base rates, then you want to make sure that you sign up for that. Now, Bison has also increased the base rates for owner-operators. Owner-operators running Canada-only can earn up to $185,000 per year. They have a wide variety of Canada-only positions for owner-operators to choose from, and Bison has a steady freight to keep the owner-operators moving. So where can you learn more about all of these things? I mean, you know, $360,000 for owner-operator teams, $120,000 for company driver teams, and owner-operators running by themselves can earn $185,000 per year. Canada only, folks, that is incredible. Well, the best place to go is to go to bisondriving.com. And while you're there, while you're talking to the team, would you let them know that you heard about it from the Lead Pedal Podcast? Hey, good luck there. You're going to make some great money working for one of the safest fleets in North America. All right, so our question today is actually from a student, and I won't mention the name, but I've been doing some teaching for one of the training schools, and the question came in and it says, why should I care about reading maps? So I had them doing some map reading. Yes, I love map reading and trip planning. And part of that, I have them fill out a log sheet. Well, this person did not think that reading a map was important because they're just going to do their GPS. And that's a common question I get from young people. Why should I bother to learn this when I've got a GPS? And then for filling out the logs, well, I'm never going to have to do that because we've got, technology that's fairly stable. Now, the nice thing was that I had a safety person in the class who was actually going for their license as well and was able to back me up that the system had gone down. Their system had gone down a couple times over the year. So, yes, you do have to do paper logs and you have to know it. And I can tell you, the problem is, think about phone numbers. Think about your address. Remember in the day when you didn't have an address book with you, everybody remembered everybody's number. It's like, oh yeah, here's my phone number. I can't remember it anymore because I haven't used it. But back in the day when you had to, our memory was better. Our memory's actually been getting worse as we get more technology. And this is what's happening in the trucking industry. GPS came out. People start just driving down the road. They don't even trip plan anymore. They don't even know where the destination is. They just know it's like south. And so they start driving, and then they hit a border, and they go, oh, there's a border here. I didn't know that. Geez, how come I don't have the right paperwork? And then they keep going, and they have no idea how long it's taking to get there. And they're not planning their routes. They're not planning their stops. And they're getting violations for leaving a 30-minute break. They cannot schedule a 30-minute break in an 8-hour period. Why? Because they're not scheduling, they're not looking, they're not planning. And so they leave it at 25 minutes and it shows you're in violation. So you think, oh, that's long enough. Don't even look at the clock, right? You look at a couple videos and you go, okay, I must be good to go. And then you take off. And that's what's happening in the industry. And you don't learn unless you do. Okay, and some people can just look and go, yep, I got it. For most of us, we need to do it. Have you ever driven somewhere? You've actually driven, you've been a passenger in a car and you've gone somewhere. Do you remember how to get there? No, because you didn't drive. Usually as soon as you drive it once or twice, you know where you're going, right? And so it's the same thing with maps and logbooks and those kind of things. If you learn the basics of a map book, if your technology goes down, and we've seen technology go down, and I got a feeling we're going to have even more issues with technology going down as we get into electric trucks and all of that kind of stuff, because when the power goes out, I'm not sure how these trucks get powered. If the power goes out in my house, I can go sit in my car, I can turn it on and run because it runs on gas, and I will be able to power whatever I have. When the vehicle is electric, I'm not sure how that works. That's for another conversation. That's not for today's conversation. But the point is that the system may or probably will go down at some point, and you need to know how to do a paper log. Now, if you are, and the regulations tell you that you have to do a paper log. So yeah, you can press a button, and if you've got the kind of system where the truck just kind of logs it for you as you go, it automatically switches you into driving mode. You don't even have to press anything half the time. How are you learning the log system? You know, so many guys go, well, I got 8 hours to drive, and when it says stop, I stop. That's not trip planning. That's not learning how to read maps. That's not learning how to understand where you go. So in these classes, when you start on the interstate system and explaining everything, they go, wow. I go, yeah. When we had to phone a tow truck back in 1985, you had to know that stuff, or else you were stood on the side of the road for a long time, and you probably were sitting there already for a long time. So you had to know this stuff. So by having people do it is a stronger way. I find in these classes, everybody just wants to get to the driving. And I understand that people aren't used to sitting in classes for 8 hours a day. But you need to start taking this stuff seriously. You need to learn it, because it's the only way that you're going to get yourself out of something should something happen and your technology goes down. And what if you knew it anyway? Like, you ask any guy who's old school driver, how enjoyable is it to know where you're going without having to worry if you're going the right way? Isn't it nicer just to know that you should be going somewhere? That's what I think. It's just nice to know which way you should be going. Hey folks, are you looking to start your career in the truck transportation industry? Ontario Truck Driving School can offer you the training you require. They have been active in the industry since 1978 and have the widest range of training programs and services in the industry. Everything from truck training to heavy equipment. And you know what? Thousands of men and women have successfully obtained employment and began careers operating heavy equipment, trucks and buses with the help of job-oriented training from Ontario Truck Driving School. They work with industry leaders and government offices to make sure that the graduates are successful and complete their training properly. The trainers have years of experience in the industry and know how things work in the transportation and construction business. In fact, truck driving courses incorporate a session with Canada Customs officials, the Ministry of Transportation, and other industry partners to make sure that you are trained properly. This training gives you the advantage of starting your new career as a truck driver. So where do you go? They've got locations all throughout Ontario, and the best way to start is to go to otds.com and look under truck training. All right, so hey, thanks for listening. Hopefully that made sense to you. Make sure that if you're in class, if you're a student in the class, pay attention. We're not just there telling you stuff for the sake of telling you stuff. We're not repeating it for the sake of repeating it. We are trying to get it in your brain. So if you take it seriously, you may think you don't need it, but I can tell you down the road, you'll be glad you learned it. I know I was, for sure. I hated geography until I drove a truck. Boy, you'd be surprised how fast you learn that. Anyway, hopefully that helps you. If you're a student, we want you to do your best and you'll be fine. All right, hey, thanks for listening. We're all on our social, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and of course you can get our Lead Pedal Media app. Best way to keep up with us. Get everything in one spot. All right, my friends, that's another Lead Pedal Q&A. If you got a question, you can send it to us. No problem. Either email to us at leadpedalpodcast@gmail.com or just put it on our social or tell us. We'll get it done for you. All right, my friends, talk to you later. Bye for now.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook.